I would definitely highly recommend anyone do whatever feels right for you within now, because success is the only option. Now, how do I summarize it? That's it. Success is the only option. Whatever you desire will become your reality if you work with it now. What was going on for me? Everything. There's a lot of chaos. I wasn't sure if I was here or there. I had very little to no self-belief. And I had found so much happiness and gratitude of being broke and poor and suffering, and really just finding happiness in my current situation, that when it got time to finding desires, I was like, I don't want anything. I love feeling almost homeless. I love that I don't have a house, and I love like and then wondering why I wasn't able to achieve anything, and I was feeling like a huge imposter. I was surrounded by people who were really, I suppose, materialistically successful, and so always out of place. And I'm not a quiet person, so I just felt myself shrinking away and sabotaging a lot. And yeah, not being able to provide for my family, not being able to be independent. I wanted to be independent, and parts of me were parts of my life, but then more than half of me was also, oh, but can I get help with this? And I need this support from whoever or wherever, and not trusting myself. Yeah. The first one, I talk about this a lot with everybody, is that you help me find desire, which sounds silly because we all think that we have these big dreams of going here, there, and everywhere. But no, I had got myself into a huge rut of I have absolutely no desires. And you asked me, you said, you got to find someone who has, like, who you role model, who do you look up to? And I remember complaining, saying, well, there is no 27-year-old single mum with kids aged 9, 6, and 5 who lives in a small town in New Zealand, like, and you turn around and you're like, yeah, because that's you. And I was like, yeah. And then, yeah, and the first thing you do is help me figure out, okay, Monica, if you want to be wealthy, find someone who you align with who's wealthy. If you want to be a public speaker or be on TV or camera or whatever that is, find someone who's on camera. Like, if you want someone who is a great parent, like, if you want to be a great parent, find someone who's a great parent. And they don't have to all be in the one person, because that's you. And so once I started looking at that, finding people and looking at how do they dress, how do they show up every day, what is it really obvious that they believe, and writing that down, that almost just helped me evolve to another level, where I then was like, I desire to, and I told you I desire a haircut, and you were like, well, get one. Yeah. The beliefs, that's been a huge part. Once I realized it's one thing to desire something, but what does the person who I used to think, okay, that person is pretty, that person is rich, that person has circumstances outside of them that enable them to do that, so therefore I must have circumstances. And once I learned, like, to have what are the beliefs of that person, I remember thinking, wow, first of all, I really didn't even realize how self-limiting my beliefs were. How much I was holding on to the struggle story, going, okay, well, Oprah doesn't believe that she struggles. She has come from struggle, and she might say it once a year because people like to remind her, but that doesn't get you to where you're going. Yeah, and focusing on where you're going was a huge shift. Yeah, I'm not quite sure why I used to believe. Let's look at the past and analyze it so we can not make things wrong in the future, let's be a perfectionist by fixing all the mistakes in the past and only doing the right thing. Everything was about being right, as opposed to, but then no wonder I was lost. I just kept I couldn't see what I was trying to achieve because I was too busy trying to be right. Yeah. Oh, that was another huge point. If you're watching this, I genuinely believed that Monica Donnelly is a teen parent, high school dropout, single mom who struggles, who's poor, and she's good at it. Look how happy she is. And she's fun, and she's vibrant, and she doesn't even care that she's poor. Like, that was old me. And then I was right, I had built a following online of people who resonated with that, where we all like to find, is it comradeship and seek comfort and being like, wow, you're poor too. Oh, you're struggling too. And, you know, everything's not okay. All right, let's huddle together and we'll be okay together. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it held me back from everything I was trying to achieve, because somebody who is financially independent, who is driven, who has high achieving goals and believes all these amazing things about herself, can't also sit and wallow and struggle. And like, I think you may have used this analogy, or maybe I just made it up my head in one of the trainings, of if you have like 10, you've got 10 fingers, 10 baskets, and right now all 10 of them are full. You can take out one, like, okay, I choose to not show up scruffy, and instead I choose to show up well presented. Okay, but I also want to do all these other things. But in order to do that, I have to lovingly release people where they're at and realize I can't take everyone with me. I can allow people to come with me, but I can't drag them by the neck, you know? Which is what I wanted to do. And a huge part of what got me over there was every time, one, my commitment to success and what that was for me, what I desired and my definition of what I was trying to achieve, and not making myself wrong month after month if I didn't achieve the material success that I had set. And every month we got on a mastermind and I would talk, and everything within Elle is talking from soul. I don't talk to say this or that. I genuinely just say whatever's in me. And every time it was, I'm something about, my kids and being a mum. Being a mum is very, well, it is still part of me, but it was only who I was at the beginning. And every time it got to the point, and Elle and I, we trust each other wholeheartedly, and she'd go, oh, you're talking about mum stuff again. And it would trigger me so much. And like, everything would be like so uncomfortable. I go, that's interesting. Yes, I am. On the inside, I'm like, yes, I am a brilliant mother. I'm absolutely fantastic, and I will, but realizing, okay, if I can be, there's very, very few things that can trigger me to the point where I actually want to start yelling abuse at somebody and go, wow, how exciting that I'm working with someone who can put me in that situation. Because when you're triggered, you break down, and when you break down, you break through. When you break through, you achieve success, or you achieve the goals and the mindset and evolving. So now when I catch myself like going, oh, I missed my kids, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Oh, you're doing that mum thing again. Like, since when does Monica Donnelly wasn't born a mother? I'm grateful to have experienced motherhood in this lifetime, but it's not attached to my identity at birth. Yeah. And realizing, as strongly as I attach to the identity of being a great mum, realizing there's a lot of other things too. And if all my basket's filled with only one thing, then I don't get to experience the rest. Also, the belief of, if I take 8 of those out, all the extra mum things that I didn't really need in there, doesn't make me less of a great mum. It just means great mum is, okay, I'm going to focus on the best and then have it the best of all these other things. And it shifted my mindset, and including my kids on the journey. So I think for a month there, I just went like full, like, I'm me and I'm not, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then naturally my kids resisted. They were like, who is this crazy woman? and going, I didn't actually communicate to them. Like, to them, mum showed up as how I showed up, and then they blinked and suddenly she's this crazy independent, I'm not doing mum life things anymore. Like, okay, I can see how that'd be frightening. So now that I've transitioned them on my journey and go, like, I'm committed to myself. The number one person in my life is myself. You know what's amazing? You get to see me thrive. And when I thrive, you thrive. Because if I don't thrive, nothing gets done. and now they keep me accountable to that. So if I say I'm doing Iron Multi, the half Ironman in Napier, and I'm getting up at 5 a.m. to run up like outside our house. Don't talk to me. Don't look for me. And when I come in, don't even wake up. Don't get up because it's too early. That's my time. And there was one morning where I didn't, and they go, did you run this morning? I go, no, I didn't. And they're like, but I thought you were going to be Iron Man. And now you're not. And now, like, you know, is the sky even blue? Because mum said she was going to do. And I was like, oh, shit. Okay, cool. And they go, because we don't try, mum. You're not trying to be Iron Man. You are Iron Man. And I'm like, yeah, thanks for using my words back at me. So it's created an even better experience of life for myself and my family and everyone around me, because I get to share what's possible in every, like, yeah. I had the hugest breakthrough in money twice, or actually throughout it, but the first one was just around creating those systems of time management and aligning. Well, one was experiencing emotion. What is emotion? What does that mean to me? And what do I feel? What do I desire? What is that? What are the beliefs? All of that side. And then going, well, that's all good and well, but if I don't know how to organize my day, I can't magically get time management. There are still tools and resources. So I halfway through, I signed up. I think I had set a goal for like $1,500 in a month, and we worked together, and then I went and got it that day. And I was like, what? Okay. Turns out making $1,500 is not that hard. And then just before MBM finished, I had set to achieve $5,000 in a month, and I did a session and then got that in a day. And I was like, okay, are you trying to tell me that I've been struggling for years and this whole 6 months, and really if I just commit to it, I can make all the money I want? Also, I remember writing down that I wanted to have nice nails and have nice hair and have nice skin and clothes that I feel proud of, and just show up as my best version of self unapologetically. And that happened well before any of the other big successes. So it really transformed my life and what's possible, because I thought only people who were earning 6 figures could live how I'm living now. And I'm on my way to get there, but I have everything I want now. So I'm kind of like, wow, what's next? Oh my gosh. It doesn't even need to be a struggle to get everything I've achieved. It was amazing that I now have, like, you're in my life, and you not only believe, but you lead by example of, if one thing's great, it's all great. If one thing's lacking, like, or you're not being inauthentic, everything, it may not be instant, but it will leak eventually. And eventually fast. And so realizing, okay, I had spent a lot of my time just listening to people who didn't have what I wanted was a huge thing. Going, well, Monica, come on, realistically, you're a mum. It's okay to focus on getting some money first, and then you can look at being healthy. Oh, Monica, it's okay because you're young. It's okay to be focused on your health, and money will come later. And I was like, okay. So I'd kind of just forever going like this. I have some of this and not some of that. And I'd created a solid belief, subconscious belief, that everything is or. I can have health or money. I can be a good mum or have a career. And it took me the whole 6 months to stop believing that. Just through experiencing, oh, actually, when I push myself physically and I eat the right food and I train for something challenging, I make a lot of money, and I show up as a great mum, and I get all the time in the world, and I start meeting friends who are in alignment with what I want. That you can't break it up. You just have to commit to what you want and then trust that they all align and start taking action in one area just ripples across. So that was huge. I get a lot of feedback now. People reach out to me going, it's like overnight, everything in your life got great. And we know you've been working towards it. I was like, no, it's because I genuinely trust that everything's either okay or not okay. And if it's not okay, I stop and reassess, okay, what's not okay? Because the joy of everything going up in alignment means everything comes down in alignment, as opposed to the or belief. It's all a belief in your head, and if you're committed to success, all you need is commitment. Commit to your burning desire. What do you really want? And for me, it started off with, I want a haircut. It sounds silly now, and that doesn't inspire me at all. But back then, that was a big deal for me, to part with $60 to get a haircut. Oh, but that's what rich people do. They go to a hairdresser and get their hair cut. Like, that's what my belief was. So I committed to it, and I kept committing to every time I achieve something, what's next? Commit to what's next. I commit to, everything. And then trusting that whatever is, if you're at level 1 and you want to get to level 10, commit to level 2. Because whatever it takes to get from level 2 to level 3 and 3 to 4, you can't even imagine at level 1. Yeah, so you only just commit to the first step. You can't. It's not possible to see the whole road to becoming a millionaire or whatever your big dream is. You can only see from here to the next step, and then the rest is wish wash. Yeah, and kind of going, people who, I suppose they still follow me, but I don't spend much time with anymore. Oh, Monica, how could you? I think I do social media, so it was a social media course. Like, oh, you spend $2,000 on a social media course? I was like, yeah, but it was only $500 in the first month. Like, I have $500, and I trust in my ability to make the rest as I go. My goal is not to acquire knowledge. My goal is to transform. So I think that's it's all in your mind and what you choose to believe. And if you don't know what to believe, or if you're so like, no, this is the way it is, that's even more of a reason to connect with the now, because you know that you know it. I know how to speak English, and I know that. I know, then you know what you don't know. I know that I don't know how to speak German. I know German is a language, but I don't know how to speak it. And then there's the infinite everything else of I don't know what I don't know. And all of your success and desires and everything you could ever possibly want is in the don't know what you don't know. So, yeah.